Hey guys, it's Alice Glaze, the host of GurlsNation's here again today as Martin Luther King Day, reminding him of his birthday that he ended discrimination and discrimination and segregation. That today that us black and white peoples can be treated equally and respected for each other, so African Americans have equal rights. Highland and well, as we're speaking, this is my cousin Naisha, and I'm gonna ask Naisha a question, a very important for Martin Luther King Day. So this is half of our Martin Luther King Day, and you'll see the other thing that we're doing today. So, have you learned around Martin Luther King?
No.
Oh wow, we're gonna tell you what Martin Luther King is. Martin Luther King is a person of segregation, not to be racist peoples. So, do you have white people in your class? Okay, if you know to know right now that there wouldn't be white people
You
in
want some
here,
water?
there
Let's
wouldn't
go get
be
some cold
there
water.
wouldn't be
Let's
white
go get some
people in
cold
your class
water.
for Martin Luther King Jr. Because look at me. It's because Martin Luther King, he ended discrimination, but you don't know. He ended that because people were slaves and blacks and whites couldn't be together. And as they couldn't be together, the word is called discrimination. So they couldn't be together because blacks and whites were equal rights. And it was a law that people couldn't be whites and blacks couldn't or colored people couldn't be together. So that's why Martin Luther King is remembered because he ended that blacks and whites can come equally. That's why if um if it wasn't for Martin Luther King, you wouldn't be sitting in your classroom that day. And Martin Luther King, he ended half of slavery. So that's what Martin Luther King is remembered for. So that's a little piece of information. And he is remembered for his I Have a Dream speech. What we're doing right now. Let's get ready to listen to his I Have a Dream speech. Okay, wait, wait. Okay, let's listen. Martin Luther. And you'll listen. You're not going to understand it a lot, but you're going to hear some words that you might recognize and understand in the speech. Okay, let's turn it up. And you hear a little bit about it. And you guys listen to at home. That's not Martin Luther King. We're watching the video. You guys, you can hear, but you can't see.
Take it along, good. See when you blood, you blood. It might be on YouTube, Facebook. That's blood thicker than mine. Come on, mommy.
At this time, I have the honor to present to you
Pay attention to
the
Dr. King.
moral leader of our nation.
Come on, let you get it out.
I have the pleasure to present to you Dr.
Because I don't
Martin
want her to
Luther
think when
King
you leave, she
Jr.
can ride with me. She know. Okay.
He's making his famous speech right now.
I am happy to join with you today in what
Listen.
will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation.
That was in
This
Washington, D.C.
momentous
That's why
decree
you're going to
came
learn about that in probably
as
fifth
a
or
great
sixth grade.
beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves
Maybe fourth,
who
because
had been seared in
nothing.
the
They're just going to
flames
teach
of
you about it,
withering
like what it is.
injustice.
That's
It came as a joyous daybreak
Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln. You're going to learn about
to
that in the
end the
third grade.
long night of their
Abraham Lincoln, you'll learn
captivity.
about it in third grade. So in the fourth grade, you're going to learn
But
about the Marvin
100
Man
years
marches.
later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. And so we've come here today
I'm looking at this.
to dramatize the shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. So we've come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We have also come to this
Have
hallowed
you
spot.
been to check the mailbox yet?
So you heard what Martin Luther King Jr. said? He's receiving a message to all of us people, even today, that even though he's dead, the discrimination and termination should have started, guys. But Martin Luther King isn't a very important person, and you will definitely learn about that in other grades.
Alright.
If you're in kindergarten, just like mine.
Yeah, yeah.
Today, Naisha actually, because today we celebrate the Martin Luther King, what he did for us, and it's very important. So that was half of the I Have a Dream speech. We couldn't say the whole thing because we're running out of time. TikTok. So today, after that, we're going to talk about Cousins Lovers League. As you can see, this is my cousin, Naisha. Nickname is Nana. And she is 5 years old. She's in kindergarten, right? Kindergarten. And today is Cousins Lovers Week. Cousins Lovers Week is when you spend time with your cousin, get to know them, get to see, what you guys have in common, and do stuff that you have fun doing. So today I did her nails, which I think I mentioned, but I didn't. See, we have the same nails. So we have things in common doing our nails because I like to do that. Do you like doing your nails? She likes to do that too. See, you can find things in common with your cousin. So you can just hang out with your cousin this week and give them a hug because I do too. And we say happy Cousins Week and we're going to say bye. 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 Have a good night.